The ocean stirs before dawn, a vast, breathing body of blue, its surface rippling with the soft exhale of the wind. Shafts of sunlight begin to pierce the horizon, transforming the water into molten gold. Beneath, where light fades into endless twilight, an ancient traveler drifts through the current, slow, deliberate, eternal. She moves with the quiet dignity of time itself, her shell etched with the stories of the sea. This is the turtle, a creature whose journey began over 100 million years ago, long before humans walked the earth, long before even the continents settled into their present shapes. While empires have risen and vanished, while oceans have changed their temperatures and tides, she has endured. Known to science as Chelonia midas, the green sea turtle, she is among the last of the great oceanic reptiles, a living relic from an age of giants. Her kind has survived the fall of dinosaurs, the shifting of continents, and the cooling and warming of the world. Yet she is not a creature of the past. She is a guardian of the present and a beacon of persistence. What makes her remarkable is not only her longevity, for some individuals live close to a century, but her connection to the planet itself. Few animals embody the unity of land and sea as she does. She breathes air, yet spends nearly her entire life in the ocean's embrace. She is born upon the sand, but it is the moonlit pull of the tides that guides her back to the same beach decades later to give life anew. Every line along her flippers, every curve of her shell tells the story of adaptation, an ancient design so perfect that time itself has barely altered it. The green sea turtle is a wanderer of the tropics and subtropics, from the turquoise lagoons of the Pacific to the coral coasts of the Indian Ocean, from the Caribbean's cradle of warmth to the sandy isles of the Mediterranean. She follows the invisible highways of the sea. Her migrations can span thousands of kilometers. She might feed in the seagrass meadows of the Philippines, then travel across open ocean to nest on the beaches of Australia. Some spend years grazing along coral reefs. Others navigate the vast emptiness of pelagic waters, where no land is seen for weeks. Every current, every ripple becomes part of her map, an ancient, inherited memory encoded not in words, but in instinct. The magnetic field of the earth itself whispers directions she can feel, but we cannot. It leads her unerringly home, as if she carries a compass of the planet's very soul within her. Now, as the season turns and the equatorial sun ripens the beaches of her birth, she begins her long pilgrimage. For years she has remained far offshore, feeding on lush meadows of seagrass and algae that carpet the shallow coastal shelves. But something stirs in her, a quiet rhythm aligned with the moon and the sea. The temperature of the water shifts, the length of the days grows steady, and an ancient call begins to rise from within. She leaves behind her feeding grounds, setting her course across open waters. The ocean around her changes hue, from the green of coastal shallows to the deep sapphire of the open sea. Along the way, she encounters drifting sargassum mats, schools of silver fish, and the shadows of predators that patrol the mid-ocean depths. For weeks she swims, resting only in the calm of surface waters, letting the sunlight warm her shell. The journey is one of endurance and memory, guided by forces she cannot see but somehow knows. Ahead lies the beach of her birth, the same crescent of sand where decades ago she first emerged from her shell and crawled toward the starlit sea. As she nears the shore, the water grows warmer and more alive. Coral reefs rise like underwater cities, bustling with parrotfish, angelfish, and darting clouds of fry. Rays sweep the sandy bottom, and the gentle sway of anemones hints at a thriving, fragile world. This is her destination, a sanctuary and a battleground, where life begins and where many journeys end. Above the waves, the world changes again. The air is heavy with salt and wind. Palm fronds whisper along the coastline, and the rhythmic crash of surf echoes through the night. Under the light of a full moon, the turtle's dark silhouette appears, a shadow climbing from the sea. Each movement is deliberate, each breath labored. She drags her body through the sand, leaving a trail that mirrors the path she took as a hatchling so many years ago. The sound of waves fades behind her, replaced by the whisper of sand beneath her flippers. She digs a nest with ancient precision, guided by instincts unchanged for eons. There, under the cloak of stars, she lays the next generation. Small, fragile eggs encased in soft shells, each a promise of life. When her work is done, she covers them gently, disguising the nest from predators, and returns to the sea. The tide embraces her once more, and she vanishes into the dark, her outline melting into the rhythm of the waves. For the next 2 months, her offspring will rest beneath the sand, warmed by the sun, awaiting the night they will crawl toward the surf and begin their perilous journey into the deep. Most will not survive, but for the few that do, the cycle will continue, just as it has for millions of years. The turtle's life is one of patience and persistence, shaped by the elements, bound to the seasons, and woven into the very fabric of the sea.
But to truly understand her resilience, we must first explore the world she calls home, a world of shifting tides and hidden gardens, where every current carries life and every grain of sand holds a story older than time itself.
Beneath the shimmering surface of tropical seas lies a world both ancient and ever-changing, the realm of the turtle. Here, sunlight filters down through the water like liquid gold, illuminating gardens of coral and meadows of seagrass that sway with the rhythm of the tides. This is a place of color and complexity. Reef walls rise like cathedrals, adorned with corals of every shape, branching, fan-like, and massive domes that have stood for centuries. Tiny shrimp clean the scales of passing fish, sea cucumbers sift the sand in slow motion, and clouds of damselfish flicker through shafts of light like living confetti. In the shallow lagoons and coastal shelves, where the seafloor lies carpeted with green blades of seagrass, the turtle finds her sanctuary. These meadows are her pastures, the ocean's quiet, hidden farms. Each bite she takes trims the grass, keeping it healthy and encouraging new growth. Without her grazing, the meadows would choke beneath their own abundance, smothering the very ecosystem they sustain. But beyond the calm of lagoons, the world changes abruptly. The coral walls give way to blue depths, a vast, open expanse where no shelter exists. Here the currents grow strong and unpredictable. It is a realm of endurance, of silent migration, where the turtle must trust her instincts and strength alone. The turtle's home is shared with a tapestry of life, each species playing a part in the delicate equilibrium of the reef and sea. Manta rays glide like shadows through the open blue. Reef sharks patrol the edges of coral cities. Dolphins whistle through the current, their sounds echoing like laughter beneath the waves. In these same waters, clouds of plankton drift invisibly, feeding everything from tiny fish larvae to the largest whales. The reef hums with constant motion, a city that never sleeps. Every inch of coral hosts a tenant. Every crevice hides a drama of survival. In the shallows, juvenile turtles share their feeding grounds with dugongs, gentle giants that graze beside them. Schools of fish follow in their wake, feeding on the tiny creatures stirred up by their movements. Even seabirds, circling above, depend on the life these underwater meadows nurture. And yet, for all its beauty, this world is a fragile masterpiece, one where balance is everything. A rise in temperature by just a few degrees can bleach the corals white, robbing the reef of its color and life. A surge of sediment from distant rivers can choke the seagrass meadows where turtles feed. In this underwater Eden, survival depends not on strength, but on harmony. The turtle is both gardener and guardian of her habitat. By feeding on seagrass, she prevents it from growing too tall and decaying, allowing sunlight to reach the seabed and oxygen to circulate freely. Her grazing helps maintain biodiversity, creating open patches where new shoots can root and juvenile fish can shelter. Her movements between reefs and coastal shallows also help distribute nutrients. The waste she leaves behind fertilizes the sea floor, enriching the very plants she depends on. In this quiet exchange between creature and environment, the ocean sustains itself. Even in her death, the turtle continues to give. When her long life ends, her body becomes nourishment for scavengers and the seabed alike, returning to the cycle from which she came. It is a perfect loop, unchanged for millions of years. But her role is not confined to the sea alone. The beaches where she nests are shaped by her visits. Each time she lays her eggs, she brings vital nutrients from the ocean to the shore. The unhatched eggs and empty shells left behind feed dune vegetation, which in turn stabilizes the sand and prevents erosion. Without turtles, even the land would suffer. In this ecosystem, nothing exists in isolation. The turtle depends on the reef for protection, on the seagrass for sustenance, and on the beaches for rebirth. The reef depends on the turtle to keep its pastures trimmed and healthy, and the beaches, though silent, depend on her return, a bridge between two worlds. She is, in every sense, a keystone species, one whose presence supports the structure of life around her. Remove her, and the balance falters. The grass grows unchecked, smothering coral and starving the fish. The beaches erode, their delicate plants deprived of nourishment. The ocean loses not only a species, but a caretaker.
Each season brings its own rhythm to this marine world. In the warm months, sunlight floods the shallows, and seagrass meadows grow thick and vibrant. Coral reefs teem with life. Spawning events turn the water milky with clouds of eggs and larvae, drifting like underwater snow. But when storms brew on distant horizons, the calm waters churn. Waves crash against the reef, breaking corals and stirring sediment into the sea. For the turtle, these months are both a challenge and a cleansing. The seagrass she depends on is scoured, only to regrow fresh and green when the waters calm again. As temperatures shift and currents change, the ocean becomes a living clock. Migratory species move with precision, whales returning to warmer waters, seabirds crossing continents, and the turtle herself beginning her long migration toward nesting grounds. Everything moves to a rhythm older than memory, guided by the pulse of the planet itself. But paradise, even one this vast, is fragile.
Coral reefs, the foundation of the turtle's world, face threats from warming waters and acidification. Bleaching events strip them of color and life, leaving only skeletal remains. Seagrass meadows are buried under coastal development or suffocated by pollution. What was once an endless blue sanctuary is shrinking. The turtle, though ancient and resilient, cannot outswim the changes we bring. Still, for now, the ocean remains alive, full of voices and color, of quiet acts of balance and beauty. It is a place where time seems to slow, where every creature plays its part in a symphony of survival. And at its heart, gliding silently through shafts of sunlight and shadow, is the turtle, the quiet keeper of the sea. But survival here is never simple. The ocean is not only a cradle of life, it is also a crucible of challenge. The land itself can be as much a predator as any living creature, and every adaptation the turtle possesses has been forged in response to that struggle. To understand how she endures, how she has mastered the art of survival in a world both beautiful and brutal, we must look closer at her form, her instincts, and the elegant design that has carried her across the tides of time.
In the open ocean, beauty and survival are one and the same, shaped not by luxury, but by necessity. Every line of the turtle's form, every curve of her shell, is a testament to evolution's quiet perfection. Her body is built for endurance. The shell, that iconic carapace, is not merely armor, it is a living extension of her skeleton, fused from ribs and vertebrae, strong enough to resist the bite of predators, yet streamlined to glide through the water with effortless grace. Sunlight reflects off its surface in hues of moss and amber, a camouflage that conceals her against the mottled seabed below. Her flippers, long and tapered, cut through the sea like wings. They are marvels of hydrodynamic design, allowing her to swim thousands of kilometers without pause. Unlike the limbs of her land-dwelling relatives, these flippers offer no purchase on land. They are instruments of the ocean, sculpted for flight through liquid sky. Her lungs are vast and efficient, fill in a single breath that can sustain her for hours beneath the waves. When she dives, her heart rate slows to a near whisper, conserving oxygen, every beat measured and deliberate. Her metabolism adapts, her muscles drawing on stored reserves as she drifts through the blue silence. Even her senses are tuned to this watery world. Her vision is sharp in the dim, filtered light of the sea, though blurred on land. Her hearing is sensitive to low-frequency vibrations, the language of currents and approaching predators. And though her eyes may not see far, her mind perceives something greater, the invisible lines of the Earth's magnetic field, a map that guides her across oceans with unerring precision. It is as if she carries a compass written into her very bones, one that points not north or south, but home. For most of her life, the turtle lives in a rhythm of quiet constancy. She awakes with the light, rising gently to the surface for air. The breath she takes is deep and unhurried, the soft exhale forming a silver ring that shimmers and vanishes. Then she descends once more to graze in the seagrass meadows below. There, in the hush of the shallows, she feeds, methodically cropping the tender shoots of grass, leaving behind a neat mosaic of feeding trails. Fish follow in her wake, snatching up disturbed crustaceans. In her calm, she creates motion. In her stillness, she shapes the lives of others. When not feeding,
She rests beneath coral ledges or in sandy hollows, her heartbeat slowed to near dormancy. Hours may pass in quiet stillness, a state of tranquil endurance that seems almost meditative. For the turtle, time is fluid. There is no urgency, only the gentle rhythm of tides. But even in this calm, vigilance is constant. Shadows sometimes pass overhead, the silhouette of a tiger shark, the glide of a barracuda. Her defense is not aggression, but awareness. With a flick of her flippers, she moves, vanishing into the blue haze, as silent as she came. In the evening, as the sea darkens, she rises once again to breathe beneath the sky of mirrored stars. The boundary between worlds, air and water, seems to dissolve around her. For the turtle, both belong equally. The turtle's life is largely solitary. Unlike dolphins or whales, she does not travel in pods or herds. The ocean's expanse is too vast, her purpose too singular. Yet, in certain seasons, the sea becomes alive with her kind. Along warm coasts where currents converge, hundreds of turtles gather, feeding in the same meadows, resting in the same shallows. They do not compete or converse, yet there is an unspoken harmony among them, a shared understanding of the rhythms that bind them. During mating season, the waters near nesting beaches fill with motion. Males, smaller and more agile, follow females through the shallows, their movements patient, almost reverent. Courtship here is a silent ritual, a dance beneath the waves. Once complete, the pair part ways. The male drifts back into the open sea, while the female begins her pilgrimage to the beach of her birth. For her, this is not simply reproduction. It is the continuation of an unbroken lineage stretching back through time.
Each generation inherits a memory of place, an echo of sand and tide that no distance can erase. The turtle's journey from hatchling to adult is a saga of transformation. The newborn emerges from the sand, a fragile scrap of life scarcely larger than a human hand, and races toward the surf under cover of night. Instinct alone guides it, drawn by the reflection of moonlight on the waves. In those first moments, every sound, every movement is danger. Crabs wade along the beach, birds circle overhead. The sea itself teems with predators. For every 1,000 hatchlings, perhaps one will survive to adulthood. Those that do disappear into what biologists call the lost years, a decade or more spent drifting in the open ocean, carried by currents, feeding on plankton and jellyfish. They become wanderers, living in the floating sargassum mats that drift with the tides, hidden worlds that cradle life in miniature. As they grow, they return to coastal waters, their shells darkening, their diet shifting from meat to seagrass. The transformation is complete, from drifter to grazer, from fragile wanderer to guardian of the shallows. Though silent to our ears, the turtle's life is rich in perception. She senses the direction of waves, the pull of the moon, and the subtle taste of the water that tells her where she is. Her navigation is an orchestra of cues, magnetic, chemical, celestial. Some researchers believe that turtles possess a form of memory beyond instinct, capable of recognizing specific feeding grounds and even returning to the same coral structures year after year. Their brains, though small by human measure, are precisely tuned to the language of the ocean, a form of intelligence adapted not for speech or tools, but for survival in a realm of fluid motion and eternal depth. There is wisdom in such simplicity. The turtle's life may seem slow, but within that slowness lies mastery, an understanding of patience, endurance, and timing that few creatures or humans can equal. Yet the most fascinating part of this creature's life is not in the way she looks, nor even in the grace with which she moves, but in how she survives the changing rhythm of the seasons. For the ocean is not constant. Its moods shift with the moon and the monsoon. Its bounty rises and falls with the currents. To live here is to adapt not once, but endlessly, to the heat, the storms, the predators, and the unseen hands of time itself. To truly know the turtle, we must follow her through these cycles of challenge and renewal, to see how she endures when the sea turns harsh, and how life finds a way even in the heart of adversity.
The ocean, like time itself, is never still. It breathes, it shifts, it transforms. With each passing season, the turtle's world changes, sometimes gently, sometimes with devastating force. As summer fades across the tropics, monsoon winds begin to stir. The once calm shallows churn into gray-green tempests, and waves hammer the coastline with relentless rhythm. The seagrass meadows that were once tranquil feeding grounds now sway violently in the surge. Clouds of sand billow up from the seabed, clouding the water like smoke. For the turtle, this is no catastrophe. It is a cycle as old as her lineage. When the storms rise, she moves deeper, seeking refuge beyond the reefs. Her instincts guide her to calmer waters where the seafloor slopes into twilight. Here, in the stillness beneath the chaos, she waits. Her heartbeat slows, her flippers barely move, conserving precious energy until the storm passes. When it does, the ocean transforms once again. Nutrients stirred by the turbulence drift back toward the coast, feeding plankton blooms that paint the water emerald. The reef awakens in a feast of color and sound. Fish swarm in schools so dense they shimmer like liquid silver. The turtle returns to her meadow, the grass now fresh and rich with new growth. For millions of years, this rhythm, destruction followed by renewal, has shaped her life. It is not endurance in spite of change, but endurance through it. As the year turns, another call rises within her, the call of return. The waters grow warmer, the moonlight lingers longer over the sea, and deep within her, an ancient pattern stirs. It is time to journey back to the beach of her birth. The journey can span hundreds, even thousands of kilometers. She may cross entire ocean basins, following unseen cues in the water's chemistry and the Earth's magnetism. For weeks, she swims tirelessly, guided not by sight or sound, but by a sense older than memory. When she reaches the shallows of her natal beach, the world seems to hold its breath. The tide recedes, the stars blaze above, and she climbs once more onto the sand, that same sand that once cradled her as an egg. The nesting ritual is both delicate and monumental. With her hind flippers, she carves a deep chamber, each motion precise, methodical, ancient. She lays her eggs, sometimes over 100, then covers them gently, camouflaging the nest before returning to the waves. For several months, the beach becomes a living nursery. Under the warmth of the sun, the buried eggs incubate, their gender determined not by genetics, but by temperature. The hotter the sand, the more females emerge, a natural balance that climate change now threatens to distort. One night, under the watch of a rising moon, the sand begins to stir. Tiny hatchlings emerge, blinking into the starlight, their instincts immediate and absolute. Drawn by the reflection of the sea, they scrambled toward the surf, a desperate race for survival. Only a handful will make it past the gauntlet of crabs, birds, and fish. For the rest, the cycle ends before it begins. Yet from those few survivors, the story continues, another link in the unbroken chain of life. From the moment she hatches, the turtle's life is defined by peril. The ocean may be her home, but it is also her greatest adversary. Sharks prowl the deep channels of the reef. Killer whales roam the open sea, their intelligence matched only with their precision. Even in the shallows, danger lurks. Barracudas, moray eels, and opportunistic fish lie in wait. But the turtle's true strength lies not in speed or ferocity, but in endurance and awareness. Her mottled shell blends seamlessly with the dappled light of the seafloor, hiding her from predators above. When danger draws near, she becomes motionless, an unremarkable shadow among the corals. If attacked, she can dive to astonishing depths, over 300 meters, holding her breath for hours as she glides into the cold, dark refuge of the abyss. There, in the still black water, no predator dares to follow.
Her very physiology is built for survival under pressure. Her heart slows to conserve oxygen. Her blood shifts to protect vital organs from nitrogen buildup. It is a mastery of body and instinct that no human could emulate unaided. But not all threats come with teeth or claws. The greatest dangers are often the quietest ones. Changes in the very fabric of the sea itself. Rising ocean temperatures disrupt her nesting patterns. Warmer sands produce more females, unbalancing populations that depend on both sexes for reproduction. Coral bleaching robs her of shelter and food. Pollution fills her feeding grounds with invisible hazards, plastics mistaken for jellyfish, toxins embedded in the algae she eats. Storms, once seasonal, now come more frequent and more violent. Beaches where generations have nested are washed away in a single night. Even the invisible world of currents and magnetic fields, her natural compass, may be altered by human interference. The turtle's resilience is immense, but even her ancient design strains beneath the pace of modern change. And yet, she endures. When the sun is too fierce, she drifts in the shadow of coral bombies, letting the cool water wrap around her. When food is scarce, she travels to deeper reefs or shifts her diet, from lush seagrass to floating algae, from jellyfish to soft corals. Her adaptability is quiet but profound. Young turtles, smaller and more vulnerable, often gather near floating mats of seaweed, drifting refuges teeming with small fish and insects. These floating oases provide both shelter and sustenance, carried by currents that span entire oceans. Some turtles migrate vast distances between feeding and breeding grounds, synchronizing their journeys with the turning of the earth. Others remain in local waters, building a life within the boundaries of a single reef. Each strategy, each behavior is a thread in the tapestry of survival. Even in the face of loss, life persists. Hatchlings may perish by the hundreds, but the survivors carry the strength of millennia. Their shells harden, their instincts sharpen, their connection to the sea deepens. The ocean, harsh though it may be, is both their trial and their teacher. For millions of years, this delicate balance, predator and prey, storm and calm, life and death, has defined the turtle's existence. But now a new and unprecedented challenge has emerged. It is not the shark or the storm that threatens her future, but something far more complex. a force that reshapes coastlines, warms oceans, and fills the sea with ghosts of plastic and oil. It is us. The greatest test for this ancient mariner no longer comes from nature, but from humankind itself.
For most of human history, the turtle has been a symbol of patience, wisdom, longevity. In myths across cultures, she carries the world upon her back. In others, she is the creator herself, birthing oceans and lands from her shell. Ancient mariners saw her as a spirit of guidance and protection, a steady companion in the shifting, uncertain vastness of the sea. But reverence and exploitation often walk hand in hand. For centuries, turtles were hunted for their meat, their shells, their oil. Their carapaces, polished to amber translucence, became luxury ornaments. Their flesh, a delicacy served at banquets. Their eggs taken from nests as casual bounty. In the markets of the Caribbean, the Pacific, and Southeast Asia, thousands of turtles once traded hands each year. To coastal peoples, this hunting was once a means of survival, a rhythm of need and nature. But as human populations grew and ships spanned the globe, demand outpaced renewal. What was once sustainable became slaughter. By the late 20th century, entire nesting colonies had vanished. Today, the threats are less visible, but far more pervasive. Across the world's oceans, plastic has become a silent predator. A drifting bag, translucent and slow-moving, mimics a jellyfish and a turtle's fatal mistake. Once swallowed, it clogs her digestive tract, filling her with nothing, starving her amid plenty. Ghost nets, abandoned fishing lines and traps, drift endlessly, entangling anything that moves. Turtles caught within struggle until exhaustion claims them. The same waters that once cradled life now conceal snares of our making. On land, the beaches that have welcomed turtles for millions of years are disappearing beneath concrete and light. Resorts rise where dunes once stood. Artificial lights disorient hatchlings, pulling them toward roads and buildings instead of the sea. Sand dredging and seawalls erase nesting sites entirely. Even the climate, once the most constant rhythm in the turtle's ancient world, has turned unpredictable. Rising temperatures skew the sex ratios of hatchlings, producing entire generations of females. Warmer seas drive coral bleaching, starving the reefs that sustain her. In some regions, sea levels rise faster than beaches can rebuild, drowning nests before life can even begin. Every aspect of her existence, feeding, breeding, migrating, now faces disruption. The ocean that shaped her has been altered in a single human lifetime. And yet our progress continues to reach deeper. Industrial fishing fleets sweep the oceans with trawls the size of city blocks. Turtles caught as bycatch are hauled aboard, gasping in the air, only to be discarded lifeless back into the sea. Oil spills stain entire coastlines. Runoff from distant farmlands seeps into lagoons, feeding algal blooms that suffocate the water. Even sound, the deep hum of ship engines and seismic surveys, intrudes upon the ocean's silence, confusing the turtle's navigation and drowning out the ancient songs of whales and dolphins. We have remade her world without seeing her. And yet she remains, not as a relic, but as a reminder of what endures when everything else changes. Around the world, a new generation of guardians has begun to rise. Scientists, conservationists, and coastal communities working to restore the fragile balance. In the Caribbean, night patrols walk the beaches under red lights, marking nests and protecting them from poachers. In Costa Rica, volunteers guard entire stretches of coastline, ensuring each hatchling reaches the sea. Across Southeast Asia and the Pacific,
local fishers have turned protectors, transforming their villages into sanctuaries where turtles can feed and breed without fear. Technology has joined the cause. Satellite tracking now follows individual turtles across oceans, revealing migratory routes once lost to mystery. Data from these journeys inform the creation of marine protected areas, invisible safe corridors that cross international boundaries. Even the fishing industry, once the turtle's greatest enemy, has begun to change. Turtle excluder devices, escape hatches built into trawl nets, now allow captured turtles to swim free. Conservation laws, though imperfect, have given her a voice in human courts. And there are signs of resilience. In places where protection has held steady for decades, the beaches once silent have come alive again with tracks, fresh imprints of returning mothers. Hatchlings, once counted in dozens, are now counted in thousands. The turtle, it seems, does not need our perfection, only our persistence.
In many indigenous and coastal communities, old traditions are finding new purpose. Rituals once centered on turtle hunts are being reborn as festivals of protection and renewal. Children who once watched their elders harvest eggs now guard them instead, learning that the turtle's survival is entwined with their own. In the Torres Strait, elders teach that when the turtles vanish, so too will the seagrass, and with it the fish and dugongs, and the stories that define their people. The turtle's return each year is not just a biological event, but a promise that life, balance, and memory endure together. Conservation, in this light, becomes more than science. It becomes an act of remembrance, a way of keeping connection alive between human and sea. But for every success story, countless challenges remain. The forces of change, industry, warming, pollution, do not rest. The turtle's survival depends now on our choices: how we build, how we consume, how we see the ocean not as a frontier to conquer, but as a home we share. When we protect her nesting beaches, we protect our coasts. When we clean her feeding grounds, we preserve our fisheries. Her well-being mirrors our own, a truth we are only beginning to understand. The sight of a turtle gliding beneath the waves, ancient and unhurried, is a vision of what endurance looks like. Not resistance, but harmony. She has weathered asteroid impacts, ice ages, and continental drift, but she cannot survive indifference. Her future and ours are now bound together in the same current. And so her story, which began in the deep past, in the age of dinosaurs and unbroken seas, reaches a moment of decision. The tides will keep turning, the moon will keep pulling, and life will go on. But whether her shell still glimmers beneath those waves 100 years from now depends not on her strength, but on ours. In the slow, deliberate rhythm of her life, the turtle carries more than her shell. She carries the memory of the earth itself. For over 100 million years, she has glided through changing seas and shifting continents, a living bridge between past and present. From the moment her fragile shell cracks open beneath the moonlight, her journey begins, a race across the sand, through waves that rise like walls, into a world both perilous and profound. Each breath she takes is a victory. Each year she endures is a testament to the ancient promise of life's persistence. She has outlasted ice ages and extinctions, watched mountains rise and erode, seen oceans expand and retreat. She has swum alongside the first sharks, beneath the shadows of ancient whales, through the migrations of empires and storms. The turtle is not merely a creature of the sea, she is a keeper of time itself, a patient witness to the story of life on Earth. And yet, in just a handful of human centuries, her continuity, once as certain as the tides, has come to rest
in our hands. Somewhere, tonight, beneath the dark curve of a tropical moon, a female turtle hauls herself out of the surf. The beach is quiet, save for the hiss of waves and the whisper of wind in the palms. Each movement is laborious. Her flippers, made for flight beneath the sea, struggle against the weight of sand. She pauses, breathes, and begins to dig. Grain by grain, she builds a cradle for the future, a hollow of faith beneath a blanket of stars. She will never see the young that emerge, nor the decades that unfold beyond her time, but she digs anyway. She lays her eggs, covers them gently, and turns back to the sea. The moonlight glints on her shell as she disappears beneath the waves, the same moon that guided her ancestors long before the first human light burned on any shore. Weeks later, tiny hatchlings break through the sand, their shells gleaming like polished stone. Drawn by instinct older than memory, they scramble toward the surf, dodging crabs, birds, and tire tracks left by humankind. A few will reach the water. Fewer still will survive to return. But that is the rhythm she has always known, fragile yet unbroken. For every hatchling that vanishes into the deep, there remains a pulse of hope, a reminder that life will always try. The turtle's story is not only about endurance, it is about balance. She lives slowly, but in harmony. She takes nothing she cannot give back. Her migrations trace invisible pathways that link coral reefs, seagrass meadows, and nesting shores into a single breathing system. To follow her journey is to glimpse the planet as it once was, whole, interconnected, cyclical. A world where survival is not conquest, but coexistence. Perhaps that is why she has become such a powerful symbol for humanity, not merely because she is old, but because she is wise in ways we have forgotten. Her patience is not passivity. It is the strength to move with the currents rather than against them. Her slowness is not weakness. It is the rhythm of understanding that the world does not belong to the fast, but to the enduring. In her, we see the reflection of a truth we too easily overlook, that progress without balance is simply acceleration toward loss. But the story does not end in despair. Across the world, people are beginning to listen again, to the ocean's pulse, to the quiet wisdom of creatures like her. Children who once collected turtle shells now collect data. Communities that once hunted now protect. Scientists, divers, and dreamers from every shore are working to restore what was broken. Every rescued hatchling, every cleaned beach, every protected reef is a small defiance against extinction. Each act of care, no matter how small, becomes a ripple, spreading outward, joining others, until it becomes a tide strong enough to turn the course of history. And the turtle, ever patient, will wait for us to learn.
When we watch her glide beneath the surface, a silhouette against shafts of sunlit blue, we are not just seeing a creature of the ocean. We are seeing time itself, moving at its truest pace. We are seeing the persistence of life against all odds. Her shell, etched with the marks of tide and time, mirrors the world we inhabit, scarred yet beautiful. Her journey from beach to open sea and back again reminds us that every ending is also a beginning, that renewal requires both loss and return. The wild does not need our pity. It does not ask for our help, but it does need our respect and our restraint. For in saving her, we are saving something far greater than one species.
We're saving the memory of the planet's patience, the heartbeat that connects every living thing. And so, as the camera drifts upward, from the turtle's slow ascent through the deep to the endless shimmer of the sea's surface, a single truth lingers. The wild does not ask for our help, yet without it, the wild will fade, and with it, a part of ourselves. The screen fades to black. The sound of waves remains, steady, eternal, unchanged.